Archaeologists just discovered something buried beneath the Amazon rainforest that challenges everything we were taught about ancient civilizations. A network of cities sprawling across 116 square miles, connected by wide, straight roads and earthen platforms, that was hidden for 2,500 years under the dense canopy of Ecuador's Upano Valley. When lidar laser technology stripped away the trees digitally, revealing what lay beneath, researchers saw more than 6,000 rectangular earthen platforms arranged in geometric patterns, massive plazas, drainage systems, and a road network extending for at least 25 kilometers. Evidence of at least 10,000 to 30,000 inhabitants living in what researchers are now calling garden cities that rival anything the Mayans built. But what terrifies historians isn't just that we missed an entire civilization hiding in plain sight for centuries. It's that this urban society is 1,000 years older than any other complex civilization found in the Amazon, which means the timeline for when humans developed agriculture, urban planning, and organized labor in the Americas needs to be completely rewritten. If you care about how many other lost civilizations are still buried under rainforests we've written off as pristine wilderness, and why the Amazon might hold more archaeological secrets than Egypt or Rome combined, share this everywhere. Because what archaeologists found in Ecuador's Upano Valley doesn't just prove a massive civilization existed where we thought only small nomadic tribes lived. It proves we've been fundamentally wrong about the Amazon for the past 500 years. And if this discovery is just the tip of the iceberg, as researchers claim, then everything we think we know about pre-Columbian America is about to change. Before we break down exactly what the lidar scans revealed, why this civilization built roads with curbs and ditches protecting their settlements from threats, and what happened 600 years ago that caused tens of thousands of people to abandon these cities and let the jungle swallow them whole. Subscribe to this channel for the investigations that rewrite history. First, you need to understand how this discovery almost never happened, because for 40 years, nobody believed there was anything to find. When archaeologist Stephen Rothstein first started doing fieldwork in the Amazon rainforest about 40 years ago, there was very little interest in the region. Archaeologists studying pre-Columbian Americas were focused on the pyramids and temples built by the ancient Maya in Mexico and Central America. It was believed that for the past 2,000 years or more, small nomadic tribes had lived in the dense forests of the Amazon, but that civilization, as we know it, had never reached them. We were less than 10 archaeologists working in the Amazon, Rothstein said. Everybody said there's nothing to find. For 4 decades, Rothstein carried out excavations in the Upano Valley, a part of the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador, painstakingly collecting evidence that seemed to prove otherwise. A series of earthen mounds and buried roads was first noticed more than 2 decades ago. But at the time, I wasn't sure how it all fit together, Rothstein said. Then in 2015, Ecuador's National Institute for Cultural Heritage funded a lidar survey of the valley. Specially equipped planes beamed laser pulses through the forest's vegetation and measured their return path. This allowed researchers to create a terrain model of the ground underneath the forest, essentially skimming off all the trees digitally and looking at the shape of the earth beneath. When the results came back, wow, was all Rothstein could say. It's a gift for an archaeologist, he said. The discovery was published in the journal Science on January 11, 2024. It was the result of nearly 30 years of investigation by Rothstein and his team, and what they found rewrites the entire history of human civilization in South America. The 15 cities are sprawled out over 115 square miles on the foothills of the Andes Mountains. They are connected by a network of pathways and large, straight roads. The archaeologists unearthed about 6,000 rectangular earthen platforms believed to be homes. The 66-foot by 33-foot dwellings were built around communal centers and plazas. But these weren't simple villages. The scientists also found larger platforms that may have been used for civic or ceremonial functions. Between the settlements was evidence of cultivated land, complete with drainage fields and terraces. The longest road stretches for at least 25 kilometers, with the possibility of extending beyond the surveyed area. The team found at least 15 clusters of complexes identified as settlements. Some settlements were protected by ditches, while there were obstructions to roads near some of the large complexes. This suggests the settlements were exposed to threats, either external or resulting from tension between groups. Even the most isolated complexes were linked by pathways and an extensive network of larger, straight roads with curbs. The roads weren't crude paths worn by foot traffic. They were engineered. The roads were formed by the excavation of soil and building it up on the sides, creating raised causeways with defined edges. Here's what makes this discovery so staggering. The scale rivals the greatest ancient civilizations on Earth. The core area of Quilomope, one of the settlements, is as large as Egypt's Giza Plateau or the main avenue of Teotihuacan in Mexico. The landscape in the Upano societies could rival the garden cities of the Maya, where houses were surrounded by farmland, and the food consumed by most residents was grown in the city. It was a lost valley of cities, Rostain said. It's incredible. But the real shock is the age. The settlements are at least 2,500 years old, dating back to around 500 BCE. They are a millennium older than other complex Amazonian societies, including Llanos de Mojos, a recently discovered ancient urban system in Bolivia. That means these cities were thriving for about 1,000 years, from approximately 500 BCE to somewhere between 300 and 600 CE, before being abandoned. For context, that's longer than the entire history of the United States. This civilization rose, flourished, built sophisticated infrastructure, and collapsed, all while hidden beneath a rainforest canopy that kept it secret for another 1,500 years after it fell. Pottery analysis shows there was cultivation of corn, beans, manioc, and sweet potatoes in the surveyed region. In the empty buffer zones between complexes, the team found features of land cultivation, such as drainage fields and terraces. These were linked to a network of footpaths. For that reason, I call this garden cities, Rostain said. It's a complete revolution in our paradigm about the Amazon. And population estimates suggest this wasn't a small settlement. While it is difficult to estimate populations, the site was home to at least 10,000 inhabitants, and perhaps as many as 15,000 to 30,000 at its peak. For comparison, that's comparable to the population of London in the year 1100 CE, except the Upano Valley cities were built 1,600 years earlier. Building this urban network would have required an elaborate system of organized labor. The Incas and Mayans built with stone, but people in Amazonia didn't usually have stone available to build. They built with mud. It's still an immense amount of labor, said Jose Iriarte, a University of Exeter archaeologist. Here's why this discovery fundamentally rewrites history. Archaeologists once believed the ancient Amazon rainforest was an inhospitable place, sparsely populated by bands of hunter-gatherers. The assumption was that the rainforest environment, dense, hostile, difficult to clear and farm, simply couldn't support large, complex societies. The Amazon is often thought of as a pristine wilderness with only small groups of people. Many people believe the Amazon rainforest was mostly untouched until Christopher Columbus arrived in the 15th century. That narrative is completely wrong, but recent discoveries have shown us how much more complex the past really is, Iriarte said. Scientists have recently found evidence of intricate rainforest societies that predated European contact elsewhere in the Amazon, including in Bolivia and in Brazil. There's always been an incredible diversity of people and settlements in the Amazon. Not only one way to live, Rostain said. In 2022, researchers used lidar to uncover lost cities in the Llanos de Mojos region of the Bolivian Amazon. The new images revealed, in detail, a stronghold of the socially complex Casarabe culture, 500 to 1400 CE, with urban centers boasting monumental platform and pyramid architecture. Raised causeways connected a constellation of suburban-like settlements, which stretched for miles across a landscape shaped by a massive water control and distribution system, with reservoirs and canals. But the Upano Valley cities are older, and potentially larger. We say Amazonia, but we should say Amazonias, to capture the region's ancient cultural diversity, Rostain said. People in both the Upano Valley and Llanos de Mojos were farmers who built roads, canals, and large civic or ceremonial buildings. This newly discovered urban network aligns closely with other sites that have been found across the tropical forests of Panama, Guatemala, Belize, Brazil, and Mexico, said Carlos Morales Aguilar, a landscape archaeologist at the University of Texas at Austin. He called the study groundbreaking, saying it not only provides concrete evidence of early, advanced urban planning in the Amazon, but also contributes significantly to our understanding of the cultural and environmental legacy of indigenous societies in this region. The discovery of the Upano sites is so far just the tip of the iceberg of what could be found in the Ecuadorian Amazon, said co-author Fernando Mejia, an archaeologist at the Pontifical Catholic University of Ecuador. And that's the terrifying part. If a civilization this massive, this sophisticated, this ancient was hiding under the trees this entire time, how many others are still buried? Lidar technology has only recently become accessible to archaeologists. Although the technology dates back about 60 years, it has only recently become more accessible, with the first commercial systems appearing in the mid-1990s. One reason is decreasing cost, partly due to improvements in sensor technology. Systems have also become more compact, lightweight, and less power-hungry, so they can now be attached to drones. LiDAR is revolutionizing our understanding of the Amazon in pre-Columbian times, said Carla Jaimes Betancourt, an archaeologist who studies ancient Amazonian societies. The Amazon rainforest covers 5.5 million square kilometers. Researchers have surveyed a tiny fraction of it. Every survey reveals new cities, new roads, new evidence of massive populations that thrived and vanished before Europeans ever set foot in the Americas. Rostain and his team assert that their discovery challenges the long-standing notion that the indigenous people in the Amazon were primarily nomadic. We have to think that all the indigenous people in the rainforest were not semi-nomadic tribes lost in the forest, looking for food. They're a big variety, a diversity of cases, and some were also with an urbanistic system, with a stratified society, Rostain said. But here's the question nobody can answer. What happened to them? The cities were abandoned somewhere between 300 and 600 CE, and the jungle reclaimed them. Was it disease, climate change, war, resource depletion? We don't know. The civilization simply vanished, leaving behind only earthen platforms and roads that would remain hidden for 1,500 years. One thing is absolutely certain. Archaeologists discovered a network of at least 15 cities in Ecuador's Upano Valley, sprawling across 116 square miles, with more than 6,000 earthen platforms, connected by roads stretching at least 25 kilometers. The settlements housed at least 10,000 to 30,000 people, living in garden cities with drainage systems, terraces, and organized agriculture. The cities are at least 2,500 years old, 1,000 years older than any other complex society found in the Amazon. The scale rivals Egypt's Giza Plateau and the Maya garden cities. This discovery is just the tip of the iceberg of what's hidden beneath 5.5 million square kilometers of rainforest. For 500 years, we believed the Amazon was pristine wilderness, inhabited by small nomadic tribes. We were catastrophically wrong. And if an entire civilization this advanced stayed hidden until 2024, how many others are still waiting to be found? Stay tuned.